Deep in the jungle of central Vietnam, there's a wonder of the world.
Wow, that is amazing.
A lost universe that hides a unique ecosystem.
It doesn't happen anywhere else on this planet.
I think that's just about the holy grail for a biologist.
And a team of scientists and explorers with a mission.
This is an amazing cave.
Look at that.
Absolutely staggering.
To investigate a record-breaking contender for the world's biggest cave.
Wow.
Vietnam's Mountain River Cave, or Han Song Dong, is uncharted territory. And next to no one has forged the depths of this monstrous cave. The team of pioneers is here to prove that this cave is the largest in the world.
This is an absolutely amazing cave. It's huge. We're just in the entrance now. It's going to get so much bigger.
That's amazing. Absolutely wonderful. This is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm so excited about being here. Practically the first person to set foot into the cave. It's a wonderful opportunity.
In 2009, caver Jonathan Sims was one of the first humans ever to enter here. But deep into the long cave passage, he was stopped short by a forbidding rock face. Now he's back with caving expert and expedition leader Howard Limbert. He brings more advanced climbing equipment and a commitment to reach the top of the wall.
It's just about to happen. This is part of our team. These folks were amazing and such a big help. While waiting for the beam of light to appear, we enjoyed some leaves falling from above. It was so magical. Here's my little landing platform with the Go Professional case we use to protect our gear. So now the sun is shining through the opening and I am exploring it with the Inspire. The aerodynamics proved very interesting here as we had some wind coming in from above and also the heated air created some interesting pushes and pulls. This can be seen here going down. Tilting the camera up, I am now looking towards the darker area of the cave. And then flying through the condensation, it was just so stunning. Look at how this beam of light creates this incredible atmosphere inside the cave. One of our porters was the model of this shot. We placed him on this huge stalagmite just so we could get a scale. This to me was my favorite location to fly. It just looks so out of this world. Unreal. Flying backwards, away from the beam of light, through the cloud layer and down to the cave below was just so much fun.
Deep in the heart of Mountain River Cave lie the magical and mysterious Dolines.
Wow.
Here, the cave roof has collapsed inwards, allowing sunlight to flood in, connecting above and below ground with the vital ingredients of life, water and light.
Man, this is the world's biggest cave. The rest of this stuff is just building up to it. That is amazing. That's 1.5 kilometers away. That is huge. But that looks like, it's 100 meters away, like we're in a normal-sized cave. That's 1.5 kilometers. It's hard to even imagine how big that passage is.
Here, a unique mini jungle has taken root, 1/4 mile below the surface of the earth.
Seeing the jungle, basically, in the middle of the caves is one of the most beautiful sights. It's just absolutely incredible.
It's got to be one of the wonders of the world. It doesn't happen anywhere else on this planet.
I think that's just about the holy grail for a biologist.
For Granger, the Doline is an unexpected window into the structure of the limestone here. It's also a view of Mountain River Cave's Achilles heel.
This is a good example of a special type of doline. This is a collapsed doline. So that happens when you have a cave passage and then the surface collapses into that cave. And it happened here because we have really thin beds. You can sort of see them on the back side of the wall, and they're just not strong enough to hold up this cave roof.
At some point in the cave's past, the river ate away at the cave roof where the limestone beds are thinner. The river damaged the ceiling rock so much that eventually the roof collapsed. This collapse is known as cantilever failure.
You can think about, theoretically at least, having a piece of rock sticking out like a diving board. You can only stick it out so far before it breaks off under its own weight. And that's exactly what happens. As you make the cave bigger and bigger, you're forcing basically a diving board of rock, a slab of rock to stick out and support its own weight.
The limestone beds in this part of Vietnam are especially thick, with very few cracks or weak points. The river tunnels through this landscape, challenging the strength of pure limestone. And the Dolines brutally reveal the few places where the rock beds are thinner, weaker, but still divine. Here, open to the sun and the rain, life thrives.
Mumbling fantastical gibberish, devouring blocks of cheese in the nude, peeing in places that aren't toilets, and jumping out of windows. These are all things people have reportedly done while sleepwalking, a behavior that's mostly benign but can be dangerous in rare cases. It's estimated that around 18% of people sleepwalk at least once in their lives. So what exactly is sleepwalking? First, we have to understand just how many of our daily activities do not require our active attention. Your prefrontal cortex is your brain's conscious, deliberate, decision-making control hub. You might decide to get up and walk using your prefrontal cortex, but the intricate coordination of sensory inputs and muscles that follows does not require any attention. Instead, it's mostly executed by a network of specialized nerve cells along the lower part of the brain and spinal cord, sometimes called central pattern generators. These areas govern automatic movements and basic actions related to survival. People with a REM sleep behavior disorder may enact their dreams while they're in REM sleep, usually keeping their eyes closed. However, this is a separate condition. Sleepwalking arises from a very different stage of sleep, the deepest stage of non-REM sleep, which is called slow-wave sleep. In this state, the cortex, including the prefrontal cortex, is essentially turned off. When someone is roused from this stage, they'll usually appear groggy before either dozing off again or becoming fully conscious. For that moment, though, they're in an intermediate state, straddling sleep and wakefulness. A sleepwalking episode is, essentially, an extreme, prolonged version of this. When sleepwalking, the prefrontal cortex remains inactive, so the person doesn't possess executive, deliberate control over their actions, but other parts of their brain are active. And, as we know, the body is capable of a lot without involving the prefrontal cortex. Sleepwalkers avoid obstacles, walk, and speak, though it's often nonsense. Most sleepwalkers can do basic things, operating in a peaceful, unemotional, dreamless state. In rare cases, sleepwalkers perform more complex tasks like cooking and driving. They're occasionally guided by physical urges like eating or pursuing sexual activities. And some episodes involve the brain's fight or flight system, during which the person might suddenly perceive an imminent danger and vocalize, cry, or even jolt out of bed and run away. These episodes, called sleep terrors, are more common in young children and usually resolve naturally. Indeed, sleepwalking is generally more common in children, perhaps because the brain areas that control the transition between sleep and wakefulness are still developing. But the exact mechanisms that cause sleepwalking remain unclear. Many cases appear to run in families, while others are more mysterious. Anything that could lead to partial awakening is thought to increase the likelihood. This includes factors that promote deeper slow-wave sleep, like sedatives, hot sleep environments, and operating on too little sleep. Or things that disrupt sleep, like stress and other sleep disorders, such as sleep apnea and restless leg syndrome. Doctors will usually evaluate these factors and promote habits that aid in healthy sleep, such as exercise, stress management, and a consistent and sufficient sleep schedule. They'll also often recommend safety measures, like hiding dangerous items, installing door alarms, and securing windows. If this doesn't help, they'll consider certain medications, but many of the available treatments for sleepwalking haven't yet been rigorously studied, so how they work and how effective they are is not entirely clear. So, what should you do if you encounter a sleepwalker? A common misconception is that rousing a sleepwalker causes irreparable harm. Fortunately, this is not true. However, trying to forcefully wake them can cause confusion and distress. The best practice seems to be to gently guide them back to bed and, if they resist, to simply ensure they're safe until the episode resolves.
Potable.
They estimate the wall is about 3 miles into the cave. From the 328-foot rappel at the entrance, it will take the team half a week to reach the final survey point at the Great Wall of Vietnam. After the initial drop, there's an 1,150-foot scramble leading to the first of 2 river crossings. From here, the team needs to climb high, following the river through the natural valley of the cave. Then there's a descent down to a level sandy area and to the first of 2 dolines, collapsed holes in the cave's surface. The dolines and cave beyond are where Betcher hopes to find new life forms, and Granger, the secret of how the cave was formed. Then, through a narrow section, across the larger doline, and into the second camp. So far, the final part of the cave surveyed is the last quarter mile before the Great Wall of Vietnam. And then It's into the unknown.
Nous sommes beaucoup plus avancés que l'islam actuel. Nous avons plus de droits, nous sommes plus libres, mais c'est le même islam.
C'est l'histoire d'une aventure étonnante. L'aventure de l'islam. Assimilé, métamorphosé, converti par une civilisation ancienne. Une civilisation oubliée aujourd'hui, mais toujours vivante. Cette histoire prend sa source dans le sud-est du Vietnam, sur une bande côtière d'à peine 200 km. Dans cette région subsiste la communauté Cham. Les Cham descendent du Champa, un grand royaume annexé par le Vietnam au milieu du 19e siècle. Aujourd'hui, les Cham sont l'une des 53 ethnies minoritaires du Vietnam. Les Cham ont conservé leur langue, leur écriture et leur tradition. Influencés par la culture vietnamienne, ils l'ont enrichi de leur musique nostalgique. La danse à l'éventail est un rite sacré. Dans cette région du Vietnam, la population Cham est en grande partie de religion brahmaniste, religion d'origine hindoue. Mais un tiers des villages Cham se disent musulmans. Les Cham musulmans s'appellent Cham Bani. Bani en référence à Ben, fils de Dieu en arabe. Ces quelques 30 000 musulmans pratiquent un islam insolite, débarrassé de ses contraintes rituelles. Ils se revendiquent néanmoins pleinement musulmans. Dans cet islam, ce sont les femmes en majorité qui vont à la mosquée. Elles ne portent pas le voile. Durant les nuits de Ramadan, le rite est accompli par les femmes. Même si les dignitaires restent des hommes, ce sont les femmes qui apportent les offrandes. Contrairement à l'islam sunnite majoritaire, où tous les fidèles sont égaux entre eux, sans hiérarchie, chez les Cham Bani, l'islam est dominé par une classe de dignitaires. Les dignitaires Bani s'habillent de blanc et de rouge. Ils se sont inspirés du costume des religieux brahmanistes. Ils ont ajouté à leur tenue 3 sacs symbolisant Allah, Mahomet et Abraham, signe distinctif des dignitaires Bani. Des 5 obligations de l'islam, la première est la croyance en Allah. Les Cham Bani la respectent.
En premier était Allah. C'est la création. L'homme descend d'Allah.
Mahomet, son prophète, est ici divinisé à l'égal d'Allah. C'est une première entorse à l'unicité divine imposée par le Coran. L'étoile et le croissant, symbole de l'islam, voisinent avec l'écriture Cham. Le jour de la fête des morts, les Bani vont au cimetière vénérer les ancêtres de leur lignée. Pourtant, les musulmans ne doivent se prosterner que devant Allah. L'islam interdit le culte des ancêtres.
Musulman c'est très interdit de vénérer autre Dieu, autre prophète que Allah. Tandis que chez les Bani, on vénère tout.
La deuxième obligation du musulman, les 5 prières quotidiennes, n'est jamais suivie par les Cham Bani.
On fait la prière une fois par mois. Sinon, on la fait le vendredi.
L'appel à la prière des Cham n'a rien de commun avec celui du muezzin classique. Nouvelle aberration pour l'islam orthodoxe, seuls les dignitaires religieux, appelés Achar, prient. Ils le font à la place des fidèles, et de manière peu orthodoxe.
La prière, c'est la prière tout ensemble comme ça, mais ce sont Achal qui sont responsables de la religion, qui sont leurs représentants religieux. Et nous sommes fidèles, nous sommes les fidèles que dans le mois du jeûne, nous entrons dans la mosquée pour faire la prière. C'est-à-dire pas prière religieuse, mais prière normale, prière civile, quoi.
Le culte est très différent de la pratique musulmane. Les prosternations des femmes bannies, identiques au culte tibétain, n'ont rien d'islamique. Les mosquées bannies sont fermées tous les jours, sauf pendant le mois de Ramadan. Elles sont également ouvertes 1 à 2 vendredis par mois, en fonction du calendrier lunaire.
They got to the door line and they saw there's just a shaft going up and it's 200 metres to the lowest point, so there's obviously no easy way out, but they could see in the distance the second door line. And when they continued to the second door line, which is probably the most famous door line because it's got enormous trees, it's got a big forest that takes about 30 minutes to walk over. But when they first saw that, they thought, oh, that's definitely the end of the cave. It was only when they climbed all the way up the hill into the door line they realised that this was another window into the cave with 200-metre cliffs and there's no way out of the cave there. What's more interesting for scientists, there's some very, very rare endangered plants there.
Over the following days, as the survey was completed, they came to realise they had discovered what was probably the biggest cave passage known in the world. It is also one of the most spectacular. At this stage, nobody could ever have guessed either the international or the local impact their discovery was going to make.
Bugün size Budizmin bugün uygulandığı şekliyle önemli okullarından ya da kollarından bahsetmek istiyorum arkadaşlar. Bu okulları yaşlı keşişlerin öğretisi anlamına gelen Theravada Budizmi ve büyük taşıt anlamına gelen Mahayana Budizmi olarak isimlendirebiliriz. Maha büyük demek. Öncelikle bunların aralarındaki benzerliklerden bahsedelim isterseniz. Bu iki Budist okulu da doğum ve yeniden doğum döngüsünün varlığını, bir gerçeklikten bir başka gerçekliğe geçtiğimizi, yani samsarayı kabul ederler. Ki bu da Hinduizmle çok benzer bir özellik, biliyorsunuz, Hinduizmle benzer. Amaç bunun hepsinin kafamızda olup biten düşüncelerden ibaret olduğunu anlayıp Dukka'dan kaçıp Nirvana'ya ulaşmaktır. Yazıyorum, Nirvana. Theravada Budizmi, Siddhartha Gautama Buda'nın ilk uygulama ve öğretilerine daha yakın uygulama ve öğretiler içerir. Kişisel bir süreçtir ve bireysel meditasyonla ilgilidir. Bensizliği ve her şeyin bir olduğunu anlayabilmek için belki bir öğretmenden yardım alınarak bu hayatta ya da bundan sonra gelen hayatlarda Nirvana'ya ulaşmaya çalışmak olarak uygulanır. Mahayana Budizmi ise bir sürü farklı uygulama içerir ama genel olarak Nirvana'ya ulaşmak için yardım alınması fikri üzerine kurulmuştur. Nirvana'ya ulaşmış kişilere Arhat adı verilir. Theravada Budizmini arhat olabilmek, yani nirvana'ya ulaşmak için çıkılan kişisel bir yolculuk olarak görebiliriz. Mahayana Budizmini ise nirvana'ya ulaşmanın çok kısa bir sürede gerçekleşmeyeceğini, nirvana'ya mümkün olduğu kadar yaklaşıp başkalarına da bu konuda yardım ettiğiniz bir bodhisattva olmaya çalışmaktan ibarettir. Bu şekilde onu anlatırız. Bu Budizmi de bu şekilde tanımlamamız gerekir. Bodhisattva kelimesi iki okulda da kullanılır. Theravada Budizminde arhat olma yolunda olan kişi, Mahayana Budizminde de arhat olmaya çok yaklaşmış ama kasıtlı olarak olmayarak başkalarına yardım eden kişi anlamında kullanılır. Eğer bodhisattvalardan biri değilseniz, size sadece bodhisattvalar değil, başka kutsal varlıklar da yardım edecektir. Bu varlıklar ve bodhisattvalar, meditasyon yapmanıza ve enerjiyi doğru bir biçimde yönlendirmenize yardımcı olurlar. Burada Mahayana Budizmine ait bir tapınağın resmini görüyoruz. Ortadaki Amitabha Buddha. Mahayana Budistlerinin birçoğu saygı gösterilen ve neredeyse Tanrı olarak kabul edilen Amitabha Buddha'ya inanırlar. Buradaki fikir, Amitabha Buddha'yı düşünerek ona odaklanmak, saf mutluluk mertebesi olan Sukhavati'ye ulaşmaktır. Kısacası bir kurtuluş ve özgür kalma fikrinden bahsetmeye çalışıyorum. Amitabha'ya odaklanarak saf mutluluk mertebesi olan Sukhavati'ye ulaşıyor ve bu sayede de Nirvana'ya ulaşmanız daha kolay hale geliyor. Amitabha Buddha'nın Siddhartha Gautama Buddha ile tam olarak aynı kişi olmadığını fark etmiş olmalısınız. Bazı geleneklerde Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, Amitabha Buddha'nın bir yansımasıdır. Ve bazı Mahayana inanışlarında hepsinin ayrı bir Buda'sı olan çoklu gerçeklikler vardır. Her doğumda bu gerçekliklerden birine doğulur ve bu görüşe göre eğer Amitabha Buddha'nın izinden gidiyorsanız saf mutluluk mertebesine ulaşabilirsiniz. Az önce de söylediğim gibi Theravada Budizmi kişisel, bireysel bir yolculuktur. Siddhartha Gautama Buddha'nın izinden giderek kişisel meditasyonla 4 yüce gerçeği tanıyarak, orta yolu takip ederek bu ya da bundan sonraki hayatlarda Nirvana'ya ulaşıp arhat olmayı amaçlar. Mahayana Budizminde ise çok daha karmaşık bir tanrı ve kutsal varlıklar panteonu vardır ve bu panteon dünyanın her yerinde farklılıklar gösterebilir. Amaç duyuları olan tüm varlıkların Nirvana'ya ulaşmasıdır. Ama kişisel amaç Nirvana'ya ulaşmayı erteleyerek diğerlerinin Nirvana'ya yaklaşmasını sağlamaktır. Resimde Amitabha Buddha'nın yanındakiler de koruyucu bodhisattvalar. Ama sadece bu bodhisattvaların değil, diğer kutsal varlıkların yardımıyla Nirvana'ya ulaşmak mümkündür.